Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? It's such an honor and a privilege for me to welcome you all. Welcome to Cultivate 2024. Hope you had a good time last evening. And next 2 days will be a lot of fun and excitement. Many of you have joined us from different parts of the world, many from different parts of the country. All you have joined us because you have aligned us with us on this mission to enable the right career for everyone in the world. It is such an inspiring thing personally for me. We have folks from some of the largest companies across the globe. We have some from the most forward-thinking companies across the globe, the one which are completely transforming the AI space. We have folks from Microsoft over here and NVIDIA and many other companies. We have folks from various public sector, like Puerto Rico, State of New York, across the globe joining us. And over the next 2 days, this is your event. Have fun, enjoy. I think that is the single most important thing. Make new friends, network. And yes, we have a lot of sessions planned over here for you. You will get to hear from Josh Bersin and Prerna. You will get to hear from Mandel Crawley. His story is always so inspiring. You will get to hear from Keith Sonderling from EEOC about AI and regulation. You will get to hear from Michael Bush, how he is inspiring every organization to be a great place to work. And more importantly, we'll also get to hear from our very own Sajid Kamath, where he's going to talk about what we have been doing in the space of applicant tracking system as well, and how we are weaving intelligence, especially compensation intelligence, in every part of the process. But that is for Sajid, his thunder. I'm not going to take it away from him. So we have a lot of things planned, but most importantly, have fun, enjoy, get to know each other, network. I'm just humbled, privileged, honored. It's just so much fun to see you all here. Like it's our fourth Cultivate, and now it's all becoming a reality. Now, I've been thinking about, where we stand today. Just to give a perspective, we are next to Facebook campus. We are a few miles away from Google, a few miles away from OpenAI, where all the excitement is happening. It reminds me of the 1962 story, when John F. Kennedy stood on the Rice University campus, and his famous words were, "We choose to go to the moon." I'm sure many of you have grown up reading about this, watching this video, his speech, where he said, "We choose to go to the moon because it's hard. It's going to inspire a generation." And just to put it in perspective, in 1962, when John F. Kennedy said that, the alloy that was used to manufacture the spaceship that took Neil Armstrong to the moon wasn't even invented. I like to say that as human beings, we like to imagine the unimaginable to make the impossible possible. He imagined that to inspire the whole country, the whole generation. And guess what? In less than 7 years, we did land on the moon. We did land on the moon. Who would have thought in 1969 we will make that happen, right? Even today, if someone were to say that we are going to land on the moon, if you don't know about this, you will be like, no. We can't even get a supersonic to fly over here, and we are talking about going to the moon? Impossible, but that did happen. And basically, when we all come together, when we inspire a generation, when we use the collective wisdom, anything can happen. And today, what is happening in the world of AI is exactly that. 25 years back, when I was doing my PhD, no one wanted to talk about AI. In fact, I would never tell anyone that I'm doing PhD in AI. It was such a geeky thing to do. I tried to run away from that, actually, honestly. No kidding. I was like, I'm not going to do this. This is what boring subject, right? 25 years later, where we are, that conversation has moved away from the research labs, few selected universities in the US, to every boardroom, but more importantly, every dinner table. I'm sure when you're talking to your family members, parents, even grandparents, the conversation about AI comes up. What's happening in the world of AI? In fact, last week, you might see a child walking around today. My son is here. And as I was putting him to bed, he asked me, "Dad, does 8-year-old AI does some AI?" And now I'm thinking, what should I tell him? How should I explain a 10-year-old what we do in the AI space? And I'm stammering, I'm fumbling. I'm like, yeah, we do some, I was fumbling. I was like, we do some job matching to people. We help them with their career, something. And he's like, do you guys build models? That was the aha moment. It is becoming a moment across the entire globe. Whether you are in US right now, in Menlo Park, the heart of AI, or you are somewhere in India or some other part of the world, whether you are Stanford, MIT, or an unknown university in somewhere other part of the world, whether you are a company like Microsoft or you're a small startup, whether you are a college-going student or a kid or a grandparent, everyone is talking about it. And that inspiration, I think, is going to make everything happen. And another small tidbit. The entire budget for the Apollo mission that took Neil Armstrong to the moon, that landed us on the moon, costed us less than $750 million. Less than $750 million. Microsoft itself has poured in more than $13 billion in AI. So the amount of energy, resources, excitement that is going on, right? What will it make it happen? But that is all exciting and great work, and a lot is going to come. But what is our landing on the moon moment? And for that to understand, we have to first understand what is the reality of our world, right? Your world, we in HR. What does it mean for us? What will be exciting for us? And for that, like 7 years back, I had no idea what HR is. All I knew was machine learning and AI and some of that stuff, right? I got into this space. I started talking to you all. I started learning from you all. Every time I would go and talk to each and every one of you. Among other things, one thing that has constantly stood out for me is how I am drowning in the sea of plethora of systems that I am using. Are you using 5 systems, 10 systems, 20? And the people, no, we are using 50, 60, 70, 80 systems, right? That's a challenge. And now what I have to worry about is update cycle, release cycle of each of these systems, how data is flowing, what is the interface for each of these, how changes are happening. It has been a nightmare. The implication of this is that we are constantly trying to struggle. We go to Eightfold to think about succession planning. We go to SuccessFactors to approve our rec. We go to another system for compliance. We go to another system for analytics. That's not fun. That takes the fun away from our day-to-day life. In fact, the implication of this is massive. How many of you this resonates, right? Low efficiency, high cost. We bought the system, but no one is adopting it. No one is using it. Now let's have an enablement cycle going, train everyone. That's not a great user experience. That is not what. And in fact, most importantly, I don't think any one of you joined HR function because you were excited to manage these plethora of systems. I wasn't. I joined because our mission was, let's help people with their careers. We joined because we wanted to make organizations better so that they can have the right talent, they can grow, they can achieve their objective. We joined because so that we can help our employees grow, succeed in their career. We didn't join to manage all these things and worry about these things, but that is what we are doing. And it's insane, right? On one hand, we are talking about all these things with AI. I don't know if many of you saw the announcement from OpenAI 2 days back and from Google yesterday on Gemini Live, right? How you can go and talk to the voice assistant, and it will help you coach and learn and do few things here and there, right? And that reminds me to think about what is our vision of HR, where we are headed, what we can do for you all, right? In fact, more importantly, what all of us can do together. So I like to call it, right, what is our landing on the moon moment? What will bring fun back into our work? And just to put it in perspective, right, I will share our vision, what we are doing over here, how we are approaching it, right? Emily in my team, she is here, a great performer, chief of staff. And I hope Emily never does this thing, what I'm going to show about you. But like any other employee, top of the mind, what's next? Where will I go in my career, right? And today, what is the process? Well, she can't come and talk to me because then it will be like, Emily, what's going on, right? I really want you here, right? So the normal thing is, okay, let me look at our internal mobility policy, read that, So let's see in action. Can you play the first video?
I've been at Eightfold for a couple years now, and am wondering what's next for me, and am I eligible to apply for internal mobility? It's playing back the intent to know about the internal mobility policy, which is correct, searching the HR policies for information on eligibility, and based on the information, it looks like I am eligible to apply, and breaks down what the criteria are, which I am, in fact, eligible for, and links to the internal mobility policy docs.
So what did you just witness, right? It's not a simple question that you go to ChatGPT and say, show me the internal mobility doc. It's not about summarize me that internal mobility policy. She asked, am I eligible? That is what she would do when she will go to another human being, right? And today, what is the challenge is that sometimes she will go read some policy, and then there will be a disagreement that policy, by the way, states that your performance has to be above this, but your performance is lower. You don't want to be. I don't want to have that conversation ever. In fact, I doubt anyone of you want to have that conversation. So what system did is looked at her tenure, looked at her performance, looked at the policy based on the location where she is in, and the answer is simple. Yes, you are eligible. Now that she knows she is eligible, what does she go and do next? Play the next video, please.
Now that I know that I am eligible to apply, I've always been interested in the sales department, so I'm wondering if there are any roles within sales that might be a good fit for me. It repeats back that I am interested in finding roles within sales, and lists 3 roles, including strategic account manager, strategic AE, and demo engineer. I've always been interested in being a strategic account manager and interacting with customers a little bit more. So let me see if I'm a good fit for the strategic account manager. So based on this, it looks like I am unfortunately just an average match, which is about a 3 out of 5. But what's nice is that it tells me what skills I'm missing, including sales expansion and AI regulation. So that's really helpful for me to know.
Simple, right? Now, there's no more argument, are you eligible or not? But for this, she made the request, she found all the open jobs, she went to Eightfold. She may not even know that we are using Eightfold. At Eightfold she knows, but a company she may not know. That system can assess her, and not just assess her, but help her understand where is the skill gap, and even recommend a next action that maybe you should explore upskilling resources, right? So let's play the third one.
So based on that, I wonder if there's anyone in the legal department who I can speak with who knows about AI regulation. And it actually shows me that this Thomas Corbett, who's the head of data product and privacy council, meets the requirements. So that's perfect. And I think I will just reach out to him.
So what happened here? Simple. Am I eligible? What are jobs? Am I fit? Who can help me? And maybe you want to go talk to someone, or maybe you want to read something by yourself. You can choose however you want to grow. We didn't tell her that you need to do this. She felt, okay, I want to go and learn from someone. But over here, there's an interesting request. I want to find someone who is in the legal department, that part of my organization. I don't want some random person. And system understood what is the org chart of the legal department, who are the people over there, what are their skills, what is their expertise, and who can help her. To me, that simplicity is the landing on the moon moment. Now, like in the morning, I have another one, 7-year-old. And if any one of you have young kids, do you remember the time when you are trying to wake them up in the morning so that they can get ready to school and they are crying, they're like, I don't want to get ready? And you are rushing coming for a keynote over here like this, right? On the flip side, if you say, Arvind, can you please get up? And he just gets up. Yeah, Dad, I know you are rushing today. I'll get up. I'll get ready on time. Don't worry. That is the landing on the moon movement. That simplicity. We ask something, it happens. Now, you all know what I have to deal with every day, right? And the worst part is that now these stories will go back to home because he's here. But more importantly, right, this was the employee experience. What is the experience for you all? I talked about you managing those 50 systems, right? So let's see. Emily, can you play the role of a recruiter and see what you can do? Next video, please.
Okay, so now I'm a recruiter and I'm wondering, can I create a rec for a senior data scientist with 3 to 5 years of experience and skills in AI, machine learning, Java, and Python? Okay, so it's recognizing the intent to create a rec for senior data scientist, fetching the system integration, collecting these details, which all look correct, and generating a job description. And it recognizes that my underlying ATS is SuccessFactors. So let's just go to SuccessFactors and make sure. And we can see here there's a senior data scientist. And if we look at the job profile, it's got the skills AI, machine learning, Python, and Java with 3 to 5 years of experience and in Santa Clara. Great.
So we didn't I didn't ask Emily anything about this, but if the number of the mistakes she made in typing that question, if she was making those in writing that job description, we will be here till tomorrow, at least, right? Last year, many of us talked about various copilots, generative AI. There's nothing new about using AI to write a job description. I think any system you're using today, and even if you're not, you can go to ChatGPT, you can go to Gemini, you can go to Bing Copilot, wherever your favorite one, and it will do it for you, right? What it might not do is look at whether this job description is fit with respect to diversity. It might not do that. It might not bring all the information that is relevant to your organization. But maybe even all that happens, right? You might use one system for job description. Now you have to go to another system, learn about that to create a rec, which happened in SuccessFactors. All that seamlessly just happened because she asked, your command, action taken, happened. Now, suddenly she remembers something else she needs to do. So can you play the next video?
So now I'm wondering, I remembered there's this candidate, Elizabeth, and we'd like to extend Elizabeth an offer and initiate a background check. It looks like it wants me to confirm what position she is, so I'll do that quickly. So it's recognized that it'd like to advance Elizabeth to offer stage for the position Senior Financial Analyst, which is correct, and initiate a background check for Elizabeth. And it recognizes that the offer stage advancement will be done in Eightfold and the background check will be done in Checker. So let's go to both and just make sure. So we've got Elizabeth Russell in the offers, and she is advanced to offer. And if we go to Checker, we can see that Elizabeth Russell has been initiated for a background check.
Isn't that amazing? That is the future. That is the vision. I made a simple request, right? Extend an offer. I didn't say advance to the next stage. I don't even know what is the next stage. How many of you who are not in HR ATS on a day-to-day basis remember the stage names? I doubt most of you, right? We just want to tell, okay, yeah, good candidate, extend an offer, right? Now, reject the candidate, right? I don't have to worry about what is my underlying background check system. It could be Checker, it could be HiRat, it could be another one. To me, that simplicity, when I ask something, it happens, irrespective of what is my underlying system, what is my underlying technology, that is what's going to bring fun back to our work. So that we can focus on what matters in our job versus we focus on managing these systems. We worry about what is their interface, do they work on Chrome or Safari, okay, maybe there's a new release, and sometimes we hear that, Eightfold, why didn't you tell us that you're about to release this thing you did? You don't want to worry about any of those things. You just want to ask and it works. Now, few things, right? Very first thing you might ask, this all sounds exciting, this sounds great, but why Eightfold? Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it now? I think the answer is simple. It's important, it's critical. You all need it, we need it. But most importantly, I am not going to wait over here for 5 years to ensure that each of these systems goes and becomes AI first. That will take forever. I don't have that much time. I need to move quickly. Second, if each of these systems, we just wait for each of these systems, when that happens, if that happens, even if one system is lacking, now I'm back to square one. But even worse, now I have to worry about what is their language, have they done a great job over there or not? And all the things around it. So I think that is what we needed to make that happen, right? So irrespective of whatever system you are using, what is your request, just make sure it happens. It's not about Eightfold. It is about enabling you to do your work much, much better on a daily basis. And now the second thing, okay, this is all exciting. What's the big deal? Yeah, great, right? Simple. I asked, create a rack, advance a candidate, all happened. What's the big deal in that? This was not even possible 3 months back. It wasn't. Why? Because the thing is, right, the systems that we use today are designed to understand this language. They are APIs. I'm sure all of you have heard the word API, right? APIs are designed to understand code. They are designed to be precise. They don't have memory, they don't have context. When I'm looking at you, there's a lot of context. When I ask you something, I don't think about, like, do you understand rack to next step or decline job? No, you don't understand that, right? You simply make a request, right? Approve a rack. Maybe you say, I don't approve. Maybe you say decline. Maybe you say requisition. Maybe you say rack, right? You use your simple words. I think if you just wanted to do this mapping, you could have done it a few years back. But then I would have asked you that be precise in what you are asking. If you wanted to do it with a more free-form text, you could have done it last year. But that is not your problem. Your problem comes in is that when I have to do it across all these systems, where each of them have their own API specifications, and doing it consistently, reliably across all of those, right? And that is our vision. To me, that is our landing on the moon moment. And when that happens, I can focus on things, I can focus on what matters, I can focus on people's career, employment, our business. And that was not possible. And what's important over here is the rate at which things are happening. The technology is evolving. How do you adopt it? How do you bring the best so as we can focus on what's important? You don't have to worry about it, right? Your work gets done. The second thing that you noticed over there, the flip side of this is, I'm sure all of you have an internal mobility policy document, probably much more better written than ours. But yes, right? This is how we write it, these policy documents. I don't know about you all, but I have gotten into many times into these conversations. But the policy document says this thing. No, you are misinterpreting that policy document. It says something slightly different, right? And you may have 5 different policy documents. They may not even be consistent with one another. Well, for one policy document, what I can do is I can take this policy document, convert it into a language that my code understands. I can do this. Your companies can do this. You don't need me for this. Anyone could have done it. That is not the beauty. The beauty is when I need to do this across those thousands of policy documents. And making sure that, I'm sure you heard again on Monday, OpenAI announced GPT-4o, then there's Llama, there's Anthropic, there's Claude, there's Gemini, there's Bard, there's Mistral. I mean, every day there's a new large language model coming in. I'll be the first to admit that it's not that we are going to just use one model forever. We'll keep on adopting the next one. But as we adopt the next one, how do I ensure that each of these policy documents are transcribed correctly, that logic is working in a reliable, consistent fashion? And that is the vision, that is the beauty. To me, that is our landing on the moon moment. And now, this is all great. So only my ask is that please download 8-fold app and go to the page number 2, and that is the only way it will work. You'll be like, wait, are you out of your mind? You just told us that it should be simple, it should be obvious, it should just work, and now you are asking us to do that? No. You should be able to do this in your own way. We need to meet you where you are in your flow of the work. We have folks from Microsoft here, so if you're using Teams, you should be able to just go to Microsoft Teams, simple, and say that, this thing. Whatever you saw, that Emily's video, was on Slack. So if you're using Slack, it should just work over there. But if you still like browser, or you're like, okay, there's a lot of complex things, I want to go back and forth, you should be able to go to your browser. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, let's meet you where you are so that you don't have to worry about these interfaces. You don't have to worry about release cycle. You don't even have to worry about what 50 systems your organization is using. You ask, it gets done. Consistently, reliably, again and again and again. And now, the most important thing. We are not yet another company. You are not in yet another function. We are in HR. And in HR, the single most important thing is responsible by design. The onus is on our shoulders. We have to make sure that this all works in a way that is ethical, that is transparent, that is privacy-centric, bias is not there, right access control is in place, and so on and so forth. Because people count on us, people rely on us, and things matter when we say our words matter. But my HR told me this. Those words matter. So I think that is the most important thing over here. I'm excited. I think it will be fun. It will make our life much, much better, right? But as you all know, I mean, at 8-fold also, right? We are growing as a company. We are barely 7-year-old. We are almost a toddler. We want to make these things happen for you all, right? And as an entrepreneur, as a second-time entrepreneur, one thing that I have learned is how important people are for success. If there's one thing I can do, make sure we have a good team so that we can grow. Second, as I have talked to each and every one of you, one thing that has come up consistently is that how important people is to you all, your own organization, right? So as I started thinking that, okay, now company is doing well, we are growing, we have all of you here, right? And so that we can keep on delivering on the promises that we are making, we can deliver on the scale at which we have talked about, right? Some of you have more than 100,000 employees in your organization. Some have more than 1 million, spanning across 20+ countries, right? How do we make sure we do it consistently? And here I am a rookie founder. I can write the code, I can do this technology, but do I know how to scale these organizations? I don't. So I was like, okay, now the system is there. Let's give it a try. Let's take it for a spin. So let's see what it can do for me. Play the next video, please. I wish that was true. No, so this is the, see the first one, team asked, let's make a fancy video. I'm like, no, we need to preserve the authenticity, right? We need to make it simple. We need to make it the way you do things. But over here, no, this is not the real video. But what this video is saying is everything is true. That has always been the top of the mind thing for me, right? How can I grow this company, right? Who can I bring, who can help me scale? Krishnan, my friend, is here, right? He guided me as I was thinking about this, right? And what came about is that, like when Chano was leaving Workday, it was obvious to me that there's one person who can make this happen. I need to figure it out, how I'm going to talk to him and everything, right? Sorry. And then my team said, Ashu, you're out of your mind. It's one of your yet another crazy ideas, right? You like to imagine these things. But as I said, right, it's all about imagining something that is not possible and then working hard to make it happen. And so without further ado, Chano Fernandez, my friend, please come join me on the stage.
Thank you, Ashu. That was amazing. Well, first of all, I hope you think along the same lines in a year from now. And for all of you, please don't hold the bar on me that high because I will be disappointing you. Right? Amazing innovation. My expectation is in a year from now, my avatar in AI will be doing this job. I will be in Spain by the beach, watching you virtually. That will be amazing. That is real innovation. Putting at work. Anyhow, first of all, welcome. I'm so thrilled to have you all here, and I'm so excited to be here today. So thank you so much for making the time to be here with us. It means a lot to us. I mean, many of you have asked me, why did I decide to join Eightful? First and foremost, I like to join companies that I feel excited by, connected, and really inspired by the purpose and the values. But I'm also convinced that Eightful has the potential to become a generational company whilst making an impact, helping to create the right career for everyone in the world. I also wanted to join a company that was innovating in a unique way. Something very important for me, a company that has the potential to attract and develop the best talent in the industry. And there were, I would say, I saw three fundamental elements that really encouraged me to join this mission and this amazing team. The first one is about AI leadership. I mean, there is an amazing team of world-class AI leaders in this company, no doubt about it. The second one is the creator and leader of talent intelligent category. In combination with AI leadership, I can tell you there is an great in-depth HR understanding at Eightful. And we've been pioneering this space, and we're by far poised to lead this category. And the third one, which is super important, is the native AI platform. Native solution AI since day one. And I know many of you know me from the past. I know many of you are getting to know me now. And I always say it's not about technology, but business. But I also say, if you don't have the right architecture, if you don't have the right technology, you need to realize that there might be business cases you will not be able to fulfill. It's as simple as that. And what is truly unique about Eightful, and this is kind of the topic we are discussing with many of the customers, is that it was built from the ground up with responsible AI by design. And we're helping many of our customers to figure that out, what it means. And how do we make an AI responsible by design kind of corporate companies and policies and procedures. And certainly we're all learning. But I will tell you, Eightful was designed since the beginning to mitigate bias about any individual on protected classes such as gender and race. And we apply best practices AI in terms of our algorithms, our architecture, our methodology, as well in our software and process deployment and enablement as a whole. Our deep learning AI model, which you saw a little bit in action with Azure today, is a global aggregated anonymized data set with over 1 billion unique career trajectories, 1 million skills, and 1 million titles, which is able to infer skills for candidates, for employees, and for each company's extended talent network. And that's what it means really to be built with Talent Center by Design at its core. Our data is encrypted in transit and at rest, and we apply the right security protocols to ensure the highest level of access authentication for our customers. And we're also helping and shaping, basically the legislation and regulation around AI through means such as NIST or groups such as the US Artificial Intelligence Safety Institute. And we're certainly very proud of our AI councils, Ethics Council, who is helping us out to really set up the guiding principles, independent ones, on how we should be doing it, and include directors and commissioners, former ones, from the EEOC, the Employee Equal Opportunity Commissioner, and the OFCCP, the Office for Contract and Compliance Programs. And we have a number of thought leaders, independent, basically, researchers as well within EU that are supporting us from a global perspective. And our model has been audited multiple times to comply with strict regulations, one of them like the New York Local Law 144, one of the strictest AI regulations in the country when it comes to automated decision-making tooling in this country. And certainly many of you have also, that our customers, had the opportunity to audit and approve our platform multiple times by independent third parties. So we take responsible AI by design very seriously. We want to help you to be responsible AI, ethical companies there, and we're very excited about the journey. And what really inspired me and what is really exciting is to know that the need we are addressing is a very real need in the market. This data just comes from a survey we just ran a month ago, around 300 HR buyers. And what we heard is that 91% of organizations are interested in a skills-based approach to talent. But what's really interesting is that out of the same pool of survey respondents, 65% say we don't think we have or we lack the foundational data to start this journey. We don't think we understand our job architecture. We don't think we know the skills in our roles in our company today. So we don't think we're ready to really exploit and take advantage of the talent intelligent power. But the good news is that we're seeing this time and time again. And while it's early days, we're already partnering with many large companies and tremendous HR leaders out there who are helping us to realize this joint vision together. And those companies include a variety of spectrum, but companies such as AI leaders, like Microsoft or Netflix, and very respected financial services organizations like Morgan Stanley, or public sector leaders. Some of them are here with us. You will be hearing from them, like the government of Puerto Rico, or District of Columbia, or the New York Department of Labor. So this is exciting. And in the 8 years we've been in this journey, as I say, we started with AI from the ground up in a responsible and ethical way. We had the opportunity, partnering with such of these great organizations, to see great outcomes so far. Having a real impact on your business and helping you to grow, hire, retain, develop the best talent that your organizations need to really thrive in these competitive talent networks is really what moved us. So let me show you what this looked like. I had the opportunity to partner previously in my career with Mandel Crowley from Morgan Stanley on their transition or the shift to a cloud architecture. And I couldn't be more thrilled that they're partnering with us in becoming a talent AI center organization. Can we bring, please, Mandel? Unfortunately, he can't be here with us today, but he will be joining us virtually. Mandel, how are you today?
Hey, partner. How you doing, Jono? Really good to see you, and I appreciate you and Achu allowing me to beam in. I'd much rather be in Menlo Park, but this will have to do for now.
Thank you so much, Mandel. Hopefully, we'll have you back here in person in the future. And it was great to be with you a few weeks back in New York. And it was a pleasure. I'm really honored and humbled to having you here today. I mean, you have a truly incredible career at Morgan Stanley, right? And I think it would be super exciting and interesting if you can share a little bit of that with the audience here from since you started till today and what that career has been.
Hey, this could be a very long conversation. There's at some level, it's a pretty boring story in the sense that I've been with one firm my entire career. This journey began as a 17-year-old high school kid who knew nothing about finance, thought I'd be an educator, and here we are, 3 decades later. And you can break the 31 years really into two parts. The first half of my career, I was, a sales and trading, professional, fixed income, in the capital markets. Absolutely loved it. If any of your participants, there have ever worked on a trading floor, they know exactly how intoxicating that environment can be. In the last 15 years, Chano, I've moved around the firm ecosystem. I've been fortunate to do a number of different things. Frankly, having that level of mobility, some of which what Achu was talking about, was afforded, because the company has been in growth mode for some time. When I joined the firm in '92, we were 4,500 employees, had a market cap of about $6 billion. Today, 80,000 employees, 42 countries, and a market cap of 160 billion. So that tailwind, I benefited from that, quite a bit. But I ran marketing for the firm for a few years, and then I got what I would consider to be my dream job. I ran our private wealth management franchise, our international wealth management business. And then in the fall of 2020, our chairman, our then chairman and CEO, James Gorman, asked me to step into the human capital function.
What an amazing, amazing journey and amazing career. How's been the move from private wealth management to becoming the CHRO?
Again, how much time do we have? It's been extraordinary. And I will tell you, when James first asked me, he positioned it as if I had some optionality. And again, as I said, running private wealth was a bit of my dream job. And so I actually said no, which I'm sure some of the conference participants can appreciate that. And then when he came back a few days later to ask if I would do the job, I realized that there was no optionality here. I was effectively being voluntold. And so here we are. I joined in the fall of 2020. We obviously all know where the world was at that time. And, the last almost 4 years, here's a couple of things that have happened. One, obviously the pandemic, bringing all of our employees back, to the office, all the work that we've all been doing around our benefit stack. We survived the so-called Great Resignation when the velocity of talent was at an all-time high. As I mentioned, we acquired a couple of companies, and then I went through a CEO succession transition. So I'll just simply say it's been quite the learning experience.
What the job optionality brings, eh?
Touche.
Yeah. So can you share what's your strategic vision from an HR perspective for Morgan Stanley, Mandel?
Yeah, look, everybody, folks who come into this function, particularly, when you have a background like mine, as it relates to some of the talent aspects of the ecosystem, I had a point of view. Obviously, I've been a client of the human capital function, but I was lacking a tremendous amount of domain expertise. So I did what, any sound leader would do. I spent, the first 6-12 months just doing a lot of listening. And one of the things that and not just inside Morgan Stanley, of course, but spending time with peers, both in the financial services industry, but outside the financial services industry. I think I've met one-on-one with over 100 chief people officers, again, in and out of the industry, and I learned a lot in that process. And so when you triangulate all of that data, what you're hearing from the team, what you're hearing from clients inside the firm, what you're hearing from peers, it was very clear to me that we had a set of virtues within the human capital function at Morgan Stanley that we wanted to hold on to, but there was clearly more than a few areas of vulnerability. And I'd say, in short, we needed to modernize our ecosystem. We need to modernize the infrastructure. For areas like how we recruited, talent, fairly manual, intensive process. Ashu gave a great sort of real world example of just the number of systems that we're navigating through, and ultimately resulted into a very poor client experience. And as I mentioned, in the prior question, if you were in the seat in 21 and 22, when again the velocity of talent activity just simply exploded. We hired, just to give some context, we hired 30,000 people over a 2-year period of time at Morgan Stanley. 13.5 in 21, 17.5 in 22. And I'll just simply say that our infrastructure wasn't fit for purpose. So one was clearly modernizing the plant, but there were other areas that have made the so-called shortlist, if you will, optimizing the Morgan Stanley workforce after 5 years of almost uninterrupted growth, through the acquisitions, through some organic growth, looking at our location footprint, looking at our pyramid structure in terms of the number of officers that we have in and around the firm. We reimagined our performance management and incentive compensation system. I mentioned, succession planning and all of the adjacent, implications that ultimately come with that. So it's been quite, the journey, and there's still a lot to do. We've made a lot of progress, but I'm here for it. It's a lot of fun.
Great progress, Mandel. And you've been partnering with us for a few years now here at AFOL. Can you share some of the progress or outcomes that you've seen so far?
Yeah, simply stated, we've revolutionized, our talent acquisition function. One of the things that we did in looking at our overall operating model is we had our talent functions or products sitting in different, silos. You had talent acquisition sitting off to the side, talent development was in another space. Our D&I team was again in another area. So one of the big things we did was brought all of the talent functions together under one roof. Another thing that we did was our corporate services organization, which is where all of our real estate, we have about 20 million square foot of real estate globally. That was also, a separate organization. We brought all of that together, and what that allowed us to do in bringing the value chain, in terms of how we think about the employee experience at the firm, brought it all together, and it really allowed us to do some cool things. But talent acquisition was the burning platform, again, for reasons that I mentioned. And as you would imagine, partner, and as you mentioned, you and I know each other from a prior vintage. We looked at a lot of companies. We did quite a bit of due diligence, pressure testing, varying platforms that existed, and ultimately Eightfold. And I know this sounds a little bit like an infomercial. I promise you guys, I don't.
No worries at all, Mandel.
Sound so much.
We're all for it.
But I would just simply tell you what it has done, not just for our recruiters in the context of giving them operating leverage. The capability set is so intuitive. It has been a game changer for our hiring managers. And so we went live in October of 22. We're incredibly encouraged by some of the outcomes. It's one thing to talk about what you think what the capability set is, and you hear the pitch that so many service providers, whether it's hyperscalers or point solution providers, but then to actually go through it and to see the actualization of the results, i.e., our time to interview is down, 40%. The productivity capacity that is given our recruiters is somewhere in the 20 to 25%, range, and we think that number is going to go to 35%. But the other, bit of the use case that we get super excited about is mobility. And I suspect many of my peers that are there, they probably have a very similar problem set inside their function, inside their organization, and that is we do really well in the context of mobility with our analysts and our associates, those who are joining, the organization, sort of at the beginning or at the top of the funnel, if you will. We also do a pretty decent job, as evidenced by my own career and journey with our most senior staff, but the thousands upon thousands of employees in the middle, when you've got 17,000 managers, and they're not all created equal, if you will, the level of inconsistency, and said simply, the implications for the overall employee experience. There's way too much variability there, and the capability set that Eightfold will give us as a platform to greatly enhance the UX of our employees who are looking. And let me be very clear, mobility isn't a birthright. This is specifically for our high-performing employees. We really want to take friction out of that process. And again, it's very early days there, but we're really excited about some of the outcomes that we're already seeing.
Isn't he amazing?
Hey, man. We could do this again tomorrow if you want. Like that.
Mandel, last thoughts. A lot is about responsible AI and how organizations, and clearly you being in a regulated industry, think about it. Any thoughts you can share there for the audience?
Look, I think I'll start with the obvious. We're still in the very early stages of this. I think there are some parts around our ecosystem where we feel like we've been early. As you may know, we have an exclusive partnership with OpenAI in our wealth management business, and I think it's exclusive. We're the only in the wealth management space that has that. So in some respects, you would think that, okay, Morgan Stanley's been really front-footed. But when you really zoom out and think about the hundreds of use cases that we have across the plant, as it relates to Gen AI, whether it's in the human capital function with our self-service capability that we're rolling out, to, again, I can spend a ton of time on just all the different examples that we have at the firm. We're really at the beginning, the top of the first inning, if you will. One of the things that we've done that I'm super pleased about is we've established an integrated Gen AI council that's co-headed by this gentleman by the name of Jeff McMillan, who ran digital and data for us in the wealth management business, and then Katie Huberty, who is our tech software analyst, covered Apple and other companies in the Valley for many years. She runs research globally for the firm. They co-head this council that truly cuts across the entire franchise, and I think that's going to be super helpful for us in the context of just mitigating all the risks that comes with having all of these different organizations and functions with the different use cases, and preventing us from working with a wide range of different vendors or what have you. There's a lot of waste and inefficiency and cost that obviously can come from that. So there's a tremendous amount of rigor and transparency in the process. We meet every other week. The dialogue, the engagement has been incredibly encouraging. But again, we're just getting started. But there's going to be huge benefits to our clients, huge benefits to our employees. But we want to do it the right way. And then obviously, within HR specifically, we've set up a workforce council, AI workforce council, because obviously the question that we're all getting from our boards is, what do we think the implications are going to be for the workforce? And my own personal view, this isn't Morgan Stanley's official take, if you will, but I think this is all about capacity, accretive to capacity. It's going to be a productivity enhancer. I'm a big believer in that. It's not that some skills and some functions won't be impacted by this, but I am effectively long human here. It's not that there aren't some tough use case. There aren't some tough scenarios that are out there. I read The Coming Wave, which it's a book that can keep you up at night. So maybe you read it, maybe you don't. So there clearly are more than a few reasons as to why we got to make sure that responsible AI has to be in the center of every single thing that we do, because clearly this thing could be a force. It will be a force for good, but it could also be weaponized in the wrong ways, and our companies, our stakeholders, can't afford it. But I'm pretty encouraged by the approach we're taking thus far.
Well, Mandel, first of all, thank you so much for the partnership. Thank you for taking the time to join us here today. Amazing story. Looking forward to seeing you soon in person again. Thank you. Thank you, Mandel.
Next year, Menlo Park.
What an amazing leader. I feel so privileged and humbled to be able to partner with organizations and leaders like Mandel. As many of you know, it's early for me here at AFOL. I've been here just around 4 months, right? And clearly during this time frame, I had the opportunity to talk to many of you, listen and try to learn, and what do we need to improve on. And clearly, in our journey to become a better partner to you, we have work to do, right? And we recognize that. And I kind of, put this in 4 big buckets of categories that we're working on and that I think are very, very important to both of us on this partnership. The first one is customer success. And clearly our goal is to make all of you wildly successful, guiding you through how do you drive change in your organizations and how do you get the most value out of AFOL, right? We're not yet there. We need to earn that right for you to advocate on behalf of AFOL, and the talent intelligence category, we're both shaping together. The second bucket, I would say, is product evolution, right? And there is no doubt on me, and hopefully there is no doubt on you, that innovation is definitely here. But as we innovate, we need to make strides to ensure our products are easier to adopt and activate. And we also need to do a much better job on how we communicate and provide visibility on what's coming next. Clearly very close to my heart is becoming a trusted business partner beyond a technology vendor. And again, I will acknowledge that we are not yet there. We are, I believe, the most innovator in AI in the HR category. But becoming a business trusted partner means much more. It means that we deliver on every promise we make. It means that we're able to serve you with best-in-class services and support. That's what it means, right? It means that we can really engage in a transparent way. And we will have our bumps in the journey, but certainly we trust each other. And as I said before, there is an amazing team of world-class AI leaders that are helping us to realize a vision in this company from a technology perspective. And right now, we are really far beyond complementing that team with amazing business leaders as well that have seen it before, and that hopefully will help us to realize that showing vision together. So with work to do, right? Definitely here. And clearly, we're just getting started. It's very early days in the category. It's very early days for us. And in that journey, we're also partnering with great HR consulting organizations that are helping us, both of us, becoming talent center AIs. And one of the best in the industry is Deloitte.